House prices here in Cambridge have risen rapidly over the last few years, making it really difficult for young people to buy a property. It's now ranked the third least affordable city in the country, and Cambridge has the highest rents in the region for small flats. But letting agent Terry Lucking has some ideas on how people can afford to live here.
I'm Terry Lucking, a Cambridge letting agent. In the time I've been here, I've seen Cambridge being turned into a playground for the rich. Space is running out, prices are high. Never mind buying a house, renting a room is going to cost you at least £500 a month. People that are essential to keeping the city moving are being forced out. But I'm going to show you how we can make living in Cambridge affordable again. 22-year-old Faye has left university, has got a job in Cambridge and would like to live in the city too. She's exactly the type of person that I want to help.
After my car and my car loan and my mobile phone, I'm probably left with about £700 a month.
But if you're putting £500 into housing, it leaves you with £200 a month to live on. Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah. Everything will have to come out of that.
So it's literally every single thing after the car?
Yeah, I struggle already.
One bed will typically range between £850, maybe up to £1,100. Then you're going to pay utilities on top. A studio, many of the new studios are renting at £1,000 plus utilities.
I honestly didn't think it would be any more than £400 just to rent with a friend a two-bed flat, like you said. I think I was a little unrealistic.
Cambridge has the highest rents in the region for one-bed flats and studios. On average, a one-bed flat is £300 more than anywhere else in the east. I passionately believe that we should be providing smaller accommodation, not necessarily because that's what people want to live in, but the reality of it, with house prices and land prices in Cambridge going up, the only way of many people being able to afford to live in Cambridge is having to live in a smaller unit. But these smaller units shouldn't be built in a way where they're unattractive. They need to have design concept built in. And I'm making small steps towards my vision. I've started advising landlords how they can convert their properties to a better standard while still making money. We found this property for investors. We've worked with the investors to help them convert it into 6 multi-letting rooms. The property generates about £39,000 a year before expenses, now in comparison to £18,000 a year if it was let to a standard family. This is a typical letting room with an ensuite shower which has been added, and this would generate about £650 a month. You may think that that's a lot of money, but it's in a high demand location. Another property I manage, right in the centre, is even closer to my vision for the future. This building, formerly a hotel, is now known as Grafton Living. It provides accommodation for just over 20 young professional people, and this is the beginning really of the concept that I would like to deliver, an aspirational accommodation for young professionals who are on a budget.
Hello.
Hello Alison, good to see you again.
And you, please sit down.
Thank you. Alison is paying £510 a month to live here, all inclusive. She's on a salary of £24,000.
The other places I looked at were just terrible in comparison. Small little rooms without a kitchen. The double bed would take up all of the room, so you wouldn't have anywhere to sit. And if you're going to live in one room, you need somewhere where there's a couch and a desk space.
Do you know just how small a space that you would be willing to live in?
I wouldn't want to go all that much smaller than this. I did see smaller rooms than this one, and I would struggle to live in that. If I were to tighten my budget, I might tighten in my disposable income first before I went any smaller.
But Cambridge City Council is going to bring in laws which completely fly in the face of what I'm pushing for. They want to increase the legal minimum sizes for new homes.
This room is roughly 50 square metres in size, which is the equivalent to the minimum residential space standard we've applied in the local plan for one-bedroom flats.
So, a one-bed flat can be no smaller than this room. A studio no smaller than 37 square metres. That's double the size I think people can easily live in, and it'll mean double the current rent.
There are concerns coming through about various aspects of housing provision and planning issues within the city, and one of them has been In recent years, the prevalence of small rooms within housing developments, this idea of a sort of cramming in as many sort of rooms into a development as is possible, and we have decided as councillors, as responsible sort of representatives, that actually we want to put down a minimum standard that future developments have to meet.
Their fear is that everyone will be living in poorly designed rabbit hutches. But it doesn't have to be that way. On the train, and the next stop is King's Cross, we're going to see a new accommodation concept and looking for some inspiration that hopefully I can bring back home to Cambridge. Simon Ewins is the man behind a new look budget hotel.
So, welcome to Hub by Premier Inn. This is an 11.4 square metre hotel bedroom, which is approximately half the size of our standard product, Premier Inn. The reason it's 11.4 square metres is that we started the concept by thinking about what is really important in a basic hotel proposition. We know that a great bathroom, a great bed, air conditioning and lighting are really important. So we added those things together and created a footprint of 11.4 square metres. We have a desk which fits into the end of the bed, which can be pulled out, which has been researched again with our business guests and is perfect for doing a few emails at the end of the day.
This is a fantastic room, loads of technology, feels great. How can it save the consumer any money?
It's all about efficiency. So what we're able to do is, with a smaller room footprint, is work a building harder and therefore effectively put more rooms into that building.
In fact, they can fit another 30% more rooms in.
Excellent locations in big cities are expensive locations. As long as people get what they want in terms of technology, in terms of style, design and location, actually the size of the room is less important today.
If I was to remodel this room so it could be used as a self-contained studio, and we need to get into it, a small kitchen area, and I think we need to give about 2 metres of space for that. And clearly this wardrobe space isn't going to be sufficient for somebody who's living in here for 3 to 6 months, so around another square metre. So a 14.5, 15 square metre room, in my opinion, should be sufficient for a self-contained studio. So looking at this, would the council be willing to go smaller now?
I think this idea of hotel-style temporary accommodation is not something we want to contemplate for all sorts of reasons. You know, it's different going to a place for a week than, you know, working here for a few years on a contract or whatever.
But how about Faye and Alison? Could they live in a space that small?
Yeah, my first thoughts are it is very small, obviously, and it's also not very homely. It does look like a hotel.
I think for the short term, definitely. I'm not sure about the long term, although it's very tempting. It's very clean and nice, and I'd be tempted, but I think not for any length of time.
It's a no from Alison and Faye, but will the council change its mind?
No, as I understand it, if the government inspector accepts that this part of our local plan is reasonable and should be approved, then it will become a standard that is not aspirational, it is a standard that we expect to be met.
That's going to drive up costs living in Cambridge significantly.
Well, costs of living in Cambridge are high at the moment, and we'll have to see if there's an extra impact on this or not.
And I'm adamant there will be a knock-on effect, with people like Alison and Faye likely to be forced to live in overpriced, run-down accommodation, or put off from coming to the city completely, financially cleansing and stifling the success of this iconic city.